Welcome to today's interview, guys. As you know, I'm Tripwire NZ here with another interview. Today we have Samssi over here. So as people probably know, Samssi has been on my channel a few times. He's done a few things with me. For people who don't know though, who are you, Samssi, and what do you do?
I'm Samssi. That's my birth name, and I kind of just do a little bit of everything. Right now I do a lot of videography and photography on the side, but I mean, I work at the hospital, but I'm trying to get into more of artistic stuff like videography and photography and stuff. And I hang out in people's streams, I guess.
I like how you said you just work at the hospital and left it there. Like, they probably think you're a doctor or something.
Yeah, they probably think I'm some kind of doctor. Not that glamorous. What I do is I reset old nurses' passwords. Now that's a very, very cool job. Everyone would be very jealous of that one. I'm tech support for the South Island, because I live in New Zealand. I'm tech support for the South Island DHB, District Health Board. So if anyone has a computer issue, they ring my department. Sounds very cool until you realize that all you're doing is resetting passwords and helping nurses click on icons. But like I said, I'm hoping to transition out of that into a bit more of a freelance kind of role in the future.
That's fair. And for anyone who knows Sam, he's definitely got the talent on that. Hey, I'm just being honest. I don't mess around with this stuff. But
yeah, like I pretty much said, my 9 to 5's kind of wake up, go to work, sit at a desk, wait for my phone calls, do some admin work, and so pretty much the entire South Island, all their DHBs, they'll ring up my number or the service desk as we're called. They'll call us up and they'll be like, my computer's broken, or this isn't working, blah blah blah. And then it's up to me to try fix it or escalate it up to another team. Actually, recently I was setting up the new hospital, which is here in Christchurch. It's called Waipapa, and I just spent a few days just walking all the wards, setting up computers, troubleshooting issues as they came up. So that was fun to get out of the office. But it's not that glamorous, unfortunately. Not all that crazy, not all that glamorous. But I mean, it's flexible, and I got a good boss, so that works in my favor.
I mean, having a good boss is the biggest up to any job, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can have the best job, but if your management sucks or the person above you is just bad, then your job's hell. Simple as that.
Yeah, I can agree, definitely. I mean, I've come from a background of less than IT jobs. Been working since 13. Heaps of fast food chains. I used to live in Australia for a bit. KFC, Red Rooster, you name it, I was working there. Burger King. Then I worked in a few abattoirs. Came to New Zealand to study for 6 months, then went into a demolition. Started demolishing houses and hotels, and then went back into study after a year's break to really send my League of Legends career off. But for some reason that didn't work, so then I started working at another meat factory, stopped that, finished my studies, and then got an IT job where I've been for a year and I think 2 years now.
Nice.
That's a bit of a backstory.
It's a bit of a mix. So you're making burgers, then destroying people's houses because you obviously hated people that much. You just want to break shit.
Yeah, I got fired from Hungry Jack's, but that's a story for another time.
Nice.
How do you get fired from Hungry Jack's, you might ask? Don't worry about it.
I kind of want to know now, I'm not going to lie. Is this something you could talk about?
I guess so. Pretty much it was like, well, I didn't it sounds a lot better without the full story, but they were slightly overstaffed, losing a bit of work. and my attitude wasn't the greatest. For example, if a burger fell on the ground, but only the package hit the ground, I'd quickly pick it up and rewrap it, which is a huge no-no in any health and safety or any food area.
Yeah, I don't see it.
A few things like that, not wanting to do dishes because I was young and cool and didn't want to, slave away. But pretty much they were just like, who do we cut? Oh, that's easy. Sam, gone.
Rest in peace, Sam. How young were you at this time when you got destroyed by Hungry Jacks?
15, I think.
That's freaking young, yeah.
15, yeah. Oh, I took it to heart. I was like, oh my gosh, caught like 8th life crisis right there, like 1/8. Just oof.
No wonder you're so mature now. You see, you've gone through menopause at the age of 15.
I've recovered.
Oh, it's funny.
Mm.
That's a very early age to be let go. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Good experience.
Yeah, I think I've been through a few things that have developed me into a much maturer and better person. A nice bit of trauma is good for everyone, right?
As long as you don't die or lose something permanently, it actually is. It's really good for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, with the demolition job, I'm wondering, did you destroy anything cool? Like, what was the coolest thing you broke?
Ooh. Well, sorry. There's a bit of a misconception actually with demolition. And demolition, you instantly think wrecking balls and like smashing a house down to pieces. Then it's all cool and manly. You with a sledgehammer, but reality is most demolition companies are also recycling companies where they will go to demolish a house and then they'll take all the wood that they can salvage and then resell it. So in your head, you're like, hell yeah, I'm going to be like smashing things with a hammer. But really, you turn up, it's like, okay, carefully pry all this wood off so that we can resell it. A few things you get to smash, but a lot of it's actually just like stuff you can't resell, like plaster, and most concrete you have to break. Well, all concrete in most cases. But like, yeah, it's a lot of like careful work just to save it all. But I mean, when I was working, because it was my uncle I was working for, we renovated, pretty much like stripped an entire hotel from top to bottom and like removed all the plaster from outside, took apart everything on the interior. That was pretty cool. A couple old houses. We found we demolished some old lady's house, and in one of the cabinets there was like 20 boxes of condoms, and I don't know why, and to this day it haunts me. It haunts me to this day. This old ass lady who's definitely in her 60s or something or later, she was like, demolish my house, go on, and the digger smashed through. We came through with our hammers because there's like stuff you can't keep. That's when you get a smash. And it was just this cabinet, and we open it up and it's just full stacked with just expired condoms. A mystery that eludes me to this day, and something I can't forget.
I don't know if you want to ever see that. Yeah.
No.
That's definitely.
It's another scenario that's put me through a tough time, and now I'm more developed as a man because of it. Oh, brilliant.
Nice. With your current job, what's the funnest thing about your job that's work related?
Oh, it'd have to be the people, right?
Oh
yeah,
no,
definitely.
generic answer.
It's breaks up the monotony when you can joke around with someone or chat, or that's probably the best of it. But yeah, I'd say the people I get to work with, they're pretty good people.
Okay, that's it'd be my answer too, because my job sucks. That's normally the answer, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. If their job's bad, the answer's always the people's the best part. I think you could say that's true.
Yeah. Or they're really good people.
Yeah, either that. Yeah, we might just have the best people. We might have like Bill Burr at his work or something.
Yeah,
just chilling. I always ask this because I always find this fun. Do you what in your current job? What is the biggest horror story you've got? It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
I think I got a better one than worse. It's the most interesting. It's the most confusing to me. One time, I called up a user to follow up on a job, and he, and whilst he was on the phone with me, actually, I don't think I can tell the story. No, I don't think I can.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it breaches. Well, the story is that kind of story that if somehow it got out that I told it, it could be bad. So, a horror story. We're changing that story.
Dun, dun.
It involved a scalpel. But anyway, continuing. Horror story. Probably one of the most painful things is when you spend like 30 minutes on the phone with a user trying to talk her through steps because you can't connect to a computer, you can't remote in, you can't. So you're just trying to talk her through these steps because she's saying like a program is missing from her desktop, and you like I literally spent 40 minutes trying to tell her how to log on to a computer that she's meant to know how to connect to the internet because some reason her computer disconnected, and we get all the way to the end. And I remote into her computer finally. Oops. And
please can't come.
They're coming for me. They heard the story. And then I move the mouse. I look on her desktop. I say, "Don't you mean this software right here?" And the software's installed and there. She just didn't see it on her desktop. And she's like, "Oh well, that wasn't there before." And you're just like, "Oh." You just wanted those. Oh, those calls are always horrible.
Good old tech support.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get quite a lot with, I don't know, I get dragged into a lot of that at my work too. Not on the phone, in person. I'm around here, Ryan. You go with computers, you're like 20 or something. all the old people at work at my work, you know. But yeah, I can relate. Or as I said earlier, my nana calling me up at like 1 a.m. asking me about some random computer problem. I'm just like, what do you mean? This is so simple.
Yeah.
How about, okay, we'll talk about something that we both enjoy. As people know, well, some people should anyway, you do quite good photography. It does seem, and it does seem to be a passion of yours as / job, part-time, side hustle. Do you want to tell us how you got into photography and what led you down this path?
Well, I guess I've always had like a little bit of creativity. Like when I was younger, we'd make like little movies, like little Lego Batman movies or little action figure movies, and I never really pursued it, and I've kind of pursued a career in IT, and then I was with my partner, and I was just like, I really want a camera. I just had this like sudden urge, like I suddenly just took an interest in photography. And I was just like, I really want a camera, and we just started looking at cameras on how much they cost, and I just started like becoming obsessive with cameras. And this was like last year, end of last year, the first time I ever thought about buying a camera, and I was just like, I really want one. Like, and then I just started like watching videos, and I was like, oh come on. I really want a camera, pretty much. And it just became like an obsession. And then I found a camera on Facebook Marketplace, still secondhand, and I brought it. And just pretty much since then, I've just been taking photos. It's dipped a bit this year. I say this year, but it's like my second, I guess, just after my first year of doing it. But it's kind of dipped a bit for me, just creatively. Like when I first got my camera, I was just shooting, but it's just, I guess, a way that it's just an artistic way that I can express myself, and I'm definitely leaning more towards film side of things, like video style things, because I shoot some weddings, both photo and video, but the video side of it is kind of where I feel me naturally gravitating towards. Is just something like photography and video are like two things that I just feel like there's almost no cap to how much you can perfect the art, and it's never perfected. Like you'll never reach the top. You'll never, like, there is no end to learning. Like once you learn like aperture, shutter speed, ISO, then composition comes into play, and composition is just this insane like game where you're just trying to just lead the person's eye through just your image, like have it kind of swim through your image, and like getting that is like so difficult. And like there's so many amazing photographers that are so good at doing that, and I try my best to do that, but I'm still learning quite a lot. But and I was just kind of doing it. I was like, maybe I can turn it into a bit of a side hustle. Maybe I can turn it into like, you know, if I love doing it and I feel like I can deliver a product that people will like, then why not give it a go? And then, you know, it's ever since then I've just been, I guess, trying to grow my name, grow a brand, I guess. Which, I mean, it still needs a lot of work, but that's, yeah.
It takes time, of course. We all know that. I know that. Anyone who does any creative thing, it takes at least 2 years to even get started, to start calling it a proper side hustle most of the time. If you're good, if you do really well, maybe full-time by that time.
Yeah. It's also hard with like a full-time job and side hustle kind of thing. Not to use like the full-time job as an excuse, but it's also like, and I've actually been talking about this with my boss recently, who you probably think is the last person you want to talk to about your side hustle. But we were talking the other day, and it was like, we were talking about like how I always feel like I can be doing more in my spare time, or I could be doing more with my time outside of work to grow the business. And like, because there's so many aspects, like there's my website, there's social media posts, there's like just reaching out, networking, there's like organizing my business cards. Like there's just so much I can be doing. And he's just like, well, instead of just like pondering about how much more you could be doing, just set some small plans. Like, I don't know, make a plan that tonight I'm going to work on a little bit of my website, and then this night I'm going to reach out to a couple of people, or just be more direct and more purposeful with my time, because I kind of just feel like a boat without a rudder sometimes, just kind of just floating around, not sure what I'm doing. But I don't know, I just kind of, I don't know, it's like little things people say, they kind of just like tweak your mindset a little bit, and it's so obvious once they say it and once you hear it, but it's just like that little tweak.
Yep, it's definitely true. Yeah, I do that as well. Like, I'm a bit older, so I should be smarter. Definitely not. But I love the saying, a lot of small things makes a big picture. And that's that's the right way of looking at business, because there's so many freaking things that you don't even think about. Like, you think making a business, it can't be too hard, just go and start, do it. It's like when people talk about like YouTubing or Twitch, oh yeah, it's just you just take videos, right? There's so much more shit. Or like, you're taking photography, oh yeah, I could do it on my camera. It's on my phone or something, you know what I mean? It's like, there's so much small shit, like you say. The more you dive for perfection or professionalism, it's like gets so much more complex too.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so many challenges, especially with trying to be a freelancer, I feel, as well. Like, there's nothing more fun than the song and dance of, you know, how much do you charge? And then I say, what's your budget? And they go, well, what do you charge? And I'm like, ah. And I'm just, it's like, that's always fun. And like, I feel like at the start, everything I'm doing is underpaid, and I think that's just kind of the way it has to be when I don't have a brand and I don't have people coming to me. I need to give them a reason, and undercutting the market seems to be the most effective way this far. It does chip away at you, because feel like you're doing a lot of work, but then I guess maybe that's just the wrong mindset.
I mean, and you should expect to get nothing out of doing something for 2 years, really. Like, they do say in all business, like, it takes 2 years of getting nothing or even being in a negative if you're owning like a business on site. Actually build a brand. But yeah, I mean, it's different nowadays because, I mean, you could build it, but in general it takes 2 years, you know what I mean? Like, you could just like tweet one thing and it goes viral and then you are suddenly known, you know what I mean? Or you could slowly build it up by just doing good shit over and over and over. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too. As you know.
Yeah.
As you guys, for you guys didn't know, as to Sam here did a lot of mine and Sophie's wedding photos, so I'll put those in the YouTube video. They'll pop up on the screen sometime.
Oh, whoa! Look at that one. Whoa! Hey, that one's really good. Start interacting with them.
I should not put them anywhere and just like have you just do some weird shit now.
That'd be like spazzing out. Oh, let me just do that.
Fun. So for photography, you've obviously got a brand you're building. Where are you in that at the moment? Like, what's the struggles you've got at this stage?
Probably, I think the biggest struggle I face is limiting myself. I think my biggest wall, I guess I'll say, is me finding either excuses, distractions, or excuses. Really, it's really just excuses. It's just, you know, I guess it also comes back to that conversation where it's like I feel like I can always do more, and it's usually because I can, but I think my work ethic isn't refined enough or good enough, and I feel like I'm getting that back on track. It's probably, I think my biggest wall is just complacency and not just not, pushing myself to where I think I need to be in order to get this off the ground, or not putting myself in enough scenarios to get me off the ground. I think that is my biggest flaw thus far, but I'm working on it. So
takes time. Yeah, it's that old situation too. Like, if you say, for example, you lost your job, because like I feel the same way. Like, for example, I wouldn't quit doing what I'm doing right now if I lost my job, and that would propel my business forward. But it's like the mad panic because of money in that stage. But because you've got money flowing in, you feel complacent. I fought with that for a long time until I started doing YouTube, to be honest, and this sort of content, like stuff that requires actual effort instead of me just putting a camera on and being like, I play Valorant. You know what I mean? It is a bit rough. For your goals, like, obviously you're building the brand, you've got you're fixing, I guess, the bad habits you've built, which everyone has, by the way. Every single person has bad habits. I guess what's next? What's the short term? What's the long term look like for this?
I've been juggling with that a bit recently, actually. So good question. Going into next year, I want to make a change, or at least start now. I don't have to wait till next year to make some kind of change to propel me forward, whether that be, like I said, ditching the excuses and going harder on the side hustle, or whether it be maybe taking another year on the full-time job, just kind of settling and accepting that, and just taking my time with the business and letting it kind of grow slowly. And then, like, the other option is to go back into studying, and the only study that truly interests me right now is film school. And I don't know, man, film school in New Zealand just doesn't seem like, there's one in Wellington that I'm looking at, and that one looks good. I'm gonna reach out to one of the people who just got out of it, who just passed it and went through it, because that's really the only one that appeals to me. The one down here in Canterbury doesn't feel, I don't know, when I look at it I'm not interested. But and it's like, so I've been tossing around with that for a bit, because I guess my ambition is to get get my brand, get my name out there, and then, you know, I guess this can transition to our short-term goals and long-term goals, because it kind of involves what I've been talking about. Long-term goal would be to be a primary, either, I guess it is to have my own production company, and that would be for people to come to me, or a brand to come to me and be like, hey, I want to shoot an ad, or we need an advertisement campaign, what can you do for us? And then, you know, I direct and shoot and do pretty much all the workings and contract freelancers and stuff. I guess that's the long-term goal. The short-term goal, I guess, is just to have it be my primary source of income. That would be my short-term goal. My short-term goal, my first step, I think, would be to get consistent enough work to leave my current job, and then, you know, long-term goal would be big production company, whatever else. But how I get there is kind of what I'm juggling with now, because going to film school, connections, like, that's a decent way to kind of put yourself in the industry, especially if I want to transition eventually to like a movie set thing. But the thing is, it feels like the world's my oyster. I almost know what I want to do, but at the same time I'm still super open to a lot of different paths. It's tricky.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you could do, and I mean, you are quite highly talented in the sense of, I think, how would I say this? There's a lot of people in creative industries that are really good at what they do, but there's not a very many people that understand how to capture feeling. And I think you understand how to capture feeling very well when I would like see your photos and like what you've done, especially like from what I've seen, you can see the feeling within what you shoot, which is good. Like, personally, I think that's good. I think if you do something like this, you'll get pretty big pretty quickly if you get noticed, you know what I mean? It's just the issue of getting noticed, which is the hard part.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you, Cancer.
He's blushing, guys. Get him. Lachi says, not sure if you've asked Sam this already, but Sam, have you any advice for people who want to get into photography and film? That's a good question I haven't asked.
Figure out which one you want to go down, photography and film. If you like both, then I don't know, it's a bit tricky. I guess figuring out your direction, and like, it's a bit ironic me giving advice, simply because I don't think I'm in a position to guide people. Probably just, it doesn't, I think that one of the best pieces of advice for starting out is it doesn't matter what camera you get, whether it's your phone, whether it's an actual DSLR, whether it's like an old Canon, a new Canon, an old Sony, a new Sony, because although ease of use and some quality of life aspects happen the more you pay, and those higher end models, and they're tempting, you've just got to get out there and work on your craft and work on your compositions, because composition and being able to shoot things well is, you know, buying an expensive camera isn't going to do that. Buying the latest camera, latest lens, you know, it's not going to improve your photography skills, because it's just a tool. I think the heart, and I also have to remind myself of that as well, is it's just a tool, and it's so tempting to constantly look at that next camera, that next upgrade, that lens that I just need, so that I can, you know, really start taking this seriously. But it's just a tool, and constantly realizing that and reminding myself of that, I think, is one of the most important things. And that creativity doesn't come from the camera, it comes from you or me, you know.
100%.
That's probably the best advice I could give. Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, you graphic design. Why did you get into graphic design? Because it's obviously just like the small thing of what you do, right?
I'm personally trying to step away from graphic design simply because I don't have enough time at all to be pursuing and growing my brand for video and doing photography work, and also having that as a side hustle. Because I got into graphic design just off kind of like, I was just like, maybe I can make a cool stream border, like a little cam border. So I was just like looking up how to do it, and then I was like, oh, I think I can do this, and then I made one, and I was like, oh, okay, and now I've made one. Then I was like, maybe I can, because I wanted money. That was the main thing. So I was like, I want money, and then I made a cam board. I was like, oh, this is sick. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can make one for someone. And I just messaged a bunch of streamers, Fortnite streamers, because I was like, they got money, they're easy. I don't know why. Some reason I went to Fortnite streamers. I guess League streamers didn't appeal to me. I think they value like kind of quirky stuff a lot more in Fortnite than League's kind of just like, you know, frown and
it's depression and grey screens.
But yeah, I just messaged a bunch of people, and one guy named Disaster Live, he was like, oh, yep, I'll pay you. I'll give you like $20 if you make me a border. So I was like, oh, sweet, $20, let's go. And then I just made like a border that I thought looked sick, had like electric all over it. It's terrible. It's so bad. If anyone has that on their Twitch, if he still has it on his Twitch channel, I feel bad for him personally. I feel like I've personally attacked his channel. But he brought it and he was like, this is sick. And I was like, oh, sweet. He's like, do more work for me. I was like, okay, I guess I could. And he's like, can you do this, this, and this? Can you make a scene for me? And I was like, I've never made one before. I can give it a go. And he's like, okay, give it a go. So then I made a scene for him. It was an intro to his car channel, because he was starting up a car channel on YouTube. I just had his icon like roll into screen, and then like a circle appear, and then an engine start, and it pulsed. And that also is a direct attack on his channel unintentionally, because it's quite bad. But I made that, and he's like, sweet, here's $30. And I was like, yo, let's keep going. So then I started like, I guess, just making stuff. And I just kind of just kept learning and working. And then Twitch channel named NatureX_. He's like, hey, how much for a complete stream package? And I was like, $180. And he's like, oh, sweet. And like, me not really knowing how long that would take and how much work is involved in that, I just like, sweet. So I got paid I was like, my mind was blown. I just got paid like $180 to do this. And I did it all in a week. Actually, I did an entire stream package in a week, because I started taking days off work because I was just so like in the zone. I was just grinding. I was just getting it all out. And I mean, it's Nature X and then an underscore if you want to check it out. But I did all his work. I did his cam border, which is so cool. It's such a cool cam border. Did his cam border, did all his scenes, his notifications, his alerts. I mean, if you want an example, I guess, of my graphic design work, go there. And then yeah, I just got a few more clients after that. And I don't know, I guess I learned how to do it. But like I said, it's something that I've learned how to do, and I've just kind of like, oh, I've done that, and I just don't want to pursue it to that next level because I'm pursuing other things to another level. And I like recently, now that I'm trying to like work harder and work more directly and efficiently, it's definitely becoming like more of an obstacle than an opportunity. So I'm just trying to almost remove it entirely.
So if you want stream stuff, don't go to Sam. He's sick of it.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just too busy.
Funny. I can't even do that now. What the hell, Sam? I have to get you drunk and bribe you into doing it for me. It's fine, dude. So how long? Just out of curiosity, because like your stuff's quite high quality in my opinion for that too. Because I've seen quite a bit of it you've shown me, and obviously you made one for me. How long did that take overall, like the full process of learning all that? Like how many months or years?
I think I made Nature's entire stream package maybe a month after I first made that cam border. Yeah, I think I caught on pretty quick. The thing is, with the internet, there's no shortage of resources, and you can go from quite mediocre to quite proficient really quick. You can go from almost seeing it, looking at it like it's impossible. Like if you had asked me like weeks before, like could you make a stream package, I would be like probably not. It's like I just don't have that artistic talent. I'm not artistically gifted. I can't draw. Like if you had literally asked me probably 2 weeks before I made anything in that field, I would have just been like, no, it's impossible. There's no way I could have done that. I'm not artistic. I'm not gifted. I can't like create things in my head. I'm just not that way. But it's like you just kind of just start learning how to do that. It almost like makes me skeptical on like, are you born gifted or are you just a victim of your circumstance? Because like, you know, it's weird. It is, because like I would never thought I could be able to create anything in terms of graphic design just because I'm not artistic. But then you just start learning, one thing leads to another, you put yourself in another uncomfortable situation where like I've never made a stream scene before. I've never made a starting soon screen, I've never made that before, and it's a little terrifying when someone says, can you make that for me? And you go, oh, I've never done that before, but I can give it a go. And they go, yeah, sure, here's some money, just go do it. And then you're like, oh, and now I got to do this. And then because you've put yourself in this scenario, you have to learn how to make something, and you start pulling in like influence from as many places as you can, and you're like, oh, this you go on to Google and you're starting soon, stream starting soon screen, and you just scroll through all the ones there, and you're just trying to like feel something, get inspired, and you just kind of in a way just force yourself to be creative and force yourself to make this thing that, and once you make it, you're like, oh, it is possible, I can do that. So I think forcing yourself into those scenarios seems to be the best, in my opinion, the most terrifying, but yet at the same time the best way to learn something.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. It's still pretty impressive though, like 1 month and you're pretty much at a level which most people would call professional. So that's pretty nutty, to be honest. Like most people would think, oh yeah, how long have you been doing it? Like for example, when you see, for example, I play this on my stream right now, alright? Like I can do this. Take it off, right? Wrong one. You do this, right? Most people in chat, if you guys see this, you would think Sam here has been doing this probably for 2 years, maybe 3 years. It's just 1 month. Pretty crazy, to be honest. Oh, we're still spinning there. Personally, I think a lot of people are talented in certain things. Like, I think everyone has something they're really good at. Some people have lots of things they're really good at. But I think a lot of people limit themselves. So, actually, I think everyone in this world limits themselves initially via either just upbringing or circumstance or whatever, right? As well as like mindset and everything else. And I think everyone's got an incredibly high potential for things. They just are scared to do them. Like, I think comfort is the worst thing in the world. Like, I think being comfortable, you never learn anything. Like I spent the first most of my life just looking at TV and doing fuck all, and that teaches you nothing. You're just brain dead doing that shit. That's
Yeah, I mean, putting yourself in uncomfortable scenarios seems to be the most effective way to learn. Or it's also it's just terrifying, like putting yourself into a scenario like that though, like taking on responsibility. Like my first wedding I shot, I did it for free, like which is huge, shooting, and it was like a 15-hour work day, and I spent like a month editing it, and I did it all for free, and it was just because I had to put myself into that. Like I had to, because the only way I could do it was for free, because the bride, they weren't like necessarily like wealthy family that could excessively throw money at a wedding video. So my only option really was to offer to do it for free, and that was scary. Oh man, I like didn't sleep at all the night before. Oh man, I mean, even the wedding I just went to, it like you think, oh, he's used to it, but no, like nervous as hell rocking up, and then you leave bride prep after she's done her makeup and done her hair, and you're just driving to the groom prep, and you're just like, I have nothing. This video is horrible. Oh, I've scammed these people. Oh my gosh, how am I gonna make a video out of this? And you're just panicking, and like you just feel like this. The only way I could describe it is like guilt. You feel this guilt that it's horrible. And then you get to groom prep, and it goes better, but you still got nothing. The ceremony has really bad lighting, and you don't know if you've captured the audio correctly, so that's piling on. And it's just like, now that I've gone through the footage, I've got enough to make a decent video, but like, on the day, oh man. And I know the next wedding I do, it's going to be the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's a chaotic scene you're putting yourself into, like, situation that anything could go wrong, and you don't know who's going to be there, what the environment's going to be like. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Most of it's quite nerve-wracking. Even the family photos, I'm a little bit like what am I going to do? I guess doubting myself is what I do a lot. So like, it's just like you're rocking up, and it's like a family of 5, and they're looking to you to be the professional, but you're rocking up like, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? And they turn out fine. In the end, it usually turns out fine, because I'll come up with something, or I'll get some inspiration before I start shooting. I'll be like, oh, that's a cool concept. Let me try to do something with that. And it usually turns out pretty fine and pretty okay, but I think it's a good feeling to have that kind of nervousness and almost thing. At least it keeps me on my toes and keeps me progressing, I guess.
Keeps you innovative.
Which is good.
Yeah, no, that's good. 100%. What do you think of have you ever read a book called actually, just changing the subject here. Have you ever read a book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins?
I haven't read the book, but I listened to the audiobook.
Hey, same here.
Holy moly. I don't think I told you this, but he's the reason I did the marathon. Oh, by the way, I did a marathon in Queenstown, I think 2 weeks ago now, or 3 weeks ago now. But he is the reason I signed up for that marathon, because he made the marathon sound easy. That man made signing up for a marathon like I was a pussy for signing up to something that short. Obviously not true. Marathon is huge. Oh my gosh, like horrible experience. But David Goggins, he's a machine. Like, and literally, I think a week ago he ran a 200-mile run, and nothing's stopping this man. All right. If you haven't listened to the audiobook, listen to David Goggins, because if anyone wants to put your excuses to the test and snap you back to reality, my boy Goggins is going to do it. He's going to take your soul, and then you're going to learn how to take other people's. It's fantastic audiobook.
The funny thing is, I recently read this like 2 weeks ago, and that's the reason I was bringing it up, to recommend it to you, because I don't think you would have read it, but there we go.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Loaded.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would recommend it. Out of all the self-help shit, because I do a lot of self-development research on myself, like 2 hours every single day if it would work at least. I would say out of everything I've learned from people online or from, say, like books and shit like this, I think this is the best by a mile. Just like his mindset is freaking nuts. Like, it gives you so much reality to it from what he's been through and everything, and I think, yeah, if anyone didn't hear that, it's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and practically had probably one of the worst childhoods ever and some of the worst medical issues ever. Yet he ran ultra marathons, was a Navy SEAL. He doesn't even float, he sinks, he's negatively buoyant. There's a lot of like crazy shit this guy fought through, and every single struggle made him stronger, and he had that mentality of, if it's fucking me up, good. Let me in. I'll make it. I'll get through this and make myself better so it doesn't fuck me up.
Definitely. I think one of the best parts of the book is with a lot of self-help. It's like you just got to get up there and do it. And he will tell you how when he was doing some of his challenges, he was like dying. He was like, his thoughts is like, why am I doing this to myself? This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. Like, he starts self-doubting, and it adds like humanity to him. He's not like just a mindless machine that can just do anything. He's like you, he's like me. He's putting himself in this difficult scenario, and he's suffering. He's genuinely suffering, but he's pushing through it, and then it makes you believe that you can too. And I think that's like, it's such a powerful book and a message. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, we should be like book salesmen at this point. Next thing we can say is, if you go on Audible, you can do it, get a free month, and just get it for free. Wow!
Use the affiliate link down below to get your hard book cover edition,
which we don't have. But yes,
link them to the book anyway.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
The affiliate link is you getting the satisfaction of leading people to them.
I knew we were quite similar, Sam, but I didn't expect that similar. Jesus, dude, come on! You can't read the same books as me. I don't even read books often.
I can't read, bro. I get like, I wrote the biggest irony is you buy a self-help book to help motivate you to get off your ass and do things, but you can't be bothered to get off your ass and read the book because reading is too damn hard. Like, there's no greater irony than buying a self-help book and not being bothered to read it. When I went through my Jordan Peterson phase, I brought Jordan Peterson 12 Rules for Life, and that book has not been opened once. The irony of it being on my shelf is
I do have a mindset question, because like you're pretty young, right? You're like 21?
22.
Youngins these days. Youngins these days. I'm like 5 years older. I'm feeling ancient here. Come on, Sam. What the hell? I'm kind of surprised, because someone your age doesn't normally have the same mentality as you. Like, most people, like when I was 22, man, I was fucking confused. I don't know what the hell I was gonna do. I was playing League of Legends back in the day, you know. I was like, I'm gonna come pro. Like do some dumb shit, and like I half-assed that, and that didn't work out. Even though I got pretty reasonably far in it, but I was like, I still half-assed it. You know what I mean? Like, how does someone, like, is there any inspiring things other than like self-help books, or maybe like a thing you've come up with yourself that's made your mindset so open-minded at a young age?
I think you can learn from everything and anything in your life. I think, in a way, I'm kind of lucky that I've gone through a lot of hard times, and that's weird to say, but it really does make you grow as a character. I think, because, I mean, I used to have some bad takes when I was a lot younger, like, mental health was like a joke, or everyone's depressed, you know, and it's like, the person who I used to be is so different to the person I am today, and I think that just has a lot to do with being open-minded, going through really tough scenarios, really tough times, trauma sometimes, and being able to come out of it on the other side. I think that's probably been one of the most important things in terms of shaping me as a character, and I guess, maturing me. Um, it is quite hard for me to say what exactly, or it's just maybe just a pursuit of knowledge and making a lot of mistakes and learning from them and trying to question myself a lot, because I mean there's still things that I probably have bad takes on these days, but it's just this constant like almost pursuit for what's right to me, and trying to, like, I love debating, like debating's like amazing for me. Like I want to understand like your mindset, trying to understand other people's mindsets and trying to understand how they got to conclusions, how they got to where they arrived, talking to different people, putting yourself in uncomfortable scenarios. Like I think it's hard for me to even say that there's one thing that develops a person, and you can kind of see in other people who haven't gone through hard times and tough times. They're not idiots, they're not like misinformed people, but there's like that layer, that level of like almost awareness that they're missing, like, and it's kind of weird, because like obviously you don't wish tragedy upon anyone, or trauma, but you know that they're missing that development in terms like they've had to fight through something and they've come out of it as a stronger person. I feel like there's numerous times in my life where I can look back and be like, I fought through something and I've come out a stronger person, and you know, and that's probably, I guess, where I could point to. Yeah.
That's kind of weird though, because like I went through personally. I don't think I've had like an extremely hard life, but I've definitely not had an easy one. Like I've had a lot of shit go in my life too, and I think I'm like, to be honest, I think mentally, personality-wise, we're quite similar. Like we think of a logical flow quite similarly, I think. It just seems weird to me, like, I don't know. Like when I was a bit younger, instead of thinking openly about it, I guess you have a more broad perspective at a younger age than I did. Because like when I was really young, I was really open-minded, and then I sort of closed myself off due to bullying, and then I was like, fuck the world, and then I went in like until about 15. I picked up games, and then I became more open-minded again. So between like, there was like a dead space for like 4 years where I was just not growing at all. I was just depressed and fucking, I was like, screw everything. So maybe you just didn't go through that. You're more like open-minded about it. That's why you've developed faster, maybe. Because I feel like maybe I'm only a year or not even that more mature than you in sense of mentality. Even though I'm 5 years older than you, which is kind of sad for me.
No. I mean, I got bullied as a kid. I mean, I think most people, it's like, because I was homeschooled till high school, so I went into school and I was like, wow, a whole new world, and I was the weird kid. Those weird homeschooling kids that are just weird.
Yeah.
They just like, to be honest, if I didn't get bullied in high school, I'd probably still be that weird kid. I ain't gonna lie. I'd probably still be that freaky ass homeschooling kid who everyone would look at, picking his nose in public and eating his boogers, and everyone would be like, "What the hell's wrong? Ah, gosh, not another one." So it's kind of weird for me to say, like, the bullying in the end of the day kind of forced me to change in a way, or at least challenge who I was, and like kind of push me in a direction. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm that mature. I don't think I'm that like knowledgeable or that open-minded. I just feel like I just kind of look at scenarios, and I guess I just have a passion and a pursuit to understand things and want to understand people. And I think people are one of the most interesting things to understand. Like, why is someone saying like the things that they're saying? How did someone end up at this point in their life? Or you even like, one of the craziest things to look at are adults like growing up, you always like adults are like the pinnacle of knowledge, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they are like they're the adults, they got their shit together, you know. Adults, there is no immature adults. Once you hit adult, you're just mature. And you get older, and then you start finding people who have the exact same issues or exact same problems, or are in the exact same like almost patterns as like younger people who are in like similar situations, like an adult who's super insecure about himself, or like an adult who's, you know, it's just crazy. The world is crazy, and like I feel like not trying to understand it is weird to me. It's like I'll debate something till the ends of the earth to get to the bottom of the truth, and it's not because I want to be right, and it's not because I want to win the argument, but it's just because I want to get to the bottom of this, and I might have a conflicting opinion with you because I believe that, and at the end of the day, either I'm going to walk out feeling stronger about my opinion, or I'm going to be able to see your side and I'm going to change my opinion. And I feel like just constantly doing that on repeat, but to the right people, because some people just don't. So some people just, you know, it's not the way that they operate.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
You avoid those people.
And it's really good to have someone similar. Like I have Kevin, who I used to live with. He was someone who I could just rattle off with. Like he was super right-wing, super Christian, super conservative, and I'm trying to constantly expand and push my limits in terms of like boundaries that I set on myself. And we would like go at it, not in like a argument way, but we would constantly debate about religion, about mentality. We would see the same like kind of eye to eye in a lot of things, but other things we'd see the complete opposites to. And some things that he's brought me around to realizing that I might have had, like I was looking at it kind of ignorantly, and other things I brought him around to. Like having someone like that is also super helpful in terms of at least progressing your mind. This is debate more, people, challenge yourself more, question yourself, like come on.
100%. That's what I like to do as well. And yeah, I mean, you brought up a good point. And to be honest, just before we go into this other point I'm just going to bring up, you do realize that being open-minded is exactly what you just said, right? So you said you're not open-minded, but looking at everything without emotion, more like objectively, is more like being open-minded, right? Like it's like that's a bad way to explain it, but more like instead of focusing on what your opinion is, focusing on why do you think this person's like right or wrong, and breaking it down, like doing the full overview of, am I wrong or are they wrong, instead of focusing on this person's challenging me, I'm offended. That's being open-minded, you know what I mean? It's this pursuit of knowledge and pursuit of you actually knowing what the fuck you're talking about instead of being offended. That's open-mindedness.
Yeah, it's constantly learning. It's just a constant state of learning. Like there's going to be times you take it too far in a debate, and like even though like I think I'm open-minded, there's definitely things I'm closed-minded about, like opening up for a new relationship. I would just dismiss it straight away. And even though I've just talked myself up, like, oh, I'm so open, I'm open-minded, and I always challenge everything. And like, you know, if I see a problem, am I right or am I wrong? Even though I kind of have these ideologies, like recently, it was like a month ago, that was also called in like the fact that I would just dismiss relationships and my feelings on them, and I just say, no, it'll never work. No, it'll never work. No, it'll never work. That is actually being pretty closed-minded, and it took someone to kick me in the head and be like, you realize that you're being pretty ignorant right now and just shutting off an entire part of your life. And so it's not, you never get to a point where you're aware of everything. And that's the thing about self-development, is that there's almost no end point, and there's no point you get to where you're like, I've crossed the finish line of self-development, I can now rest, you know. Finally I can stop, you know, developing myself, for I am perfect. it's a never-ending process that I think you start and go through your entire life, and you constantly catch yourself out, even contradicting things you believe. Like, just you always are learning, and we're gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. We all make mistakes constantly and over time.
Yeah.
But it's how we learn from them and how we get back up and how we progress from that point. That's the important part. And like, I can look back at who I was 2 years ago, you know, and I'm a hypocrite today because I said some things before that I'm against now. But, you know, like
Yeah,
one of the
that's it.
Beastie Boys said, it's like, I would rather be a hypocrite than the person I was before or the person I used to be. And I can't agree more.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's... Yeah, everyone that's... Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing about it, right? Like, learning and developing. If you can look back a year ago and say, fuck, I was an idiot last year, but, like, the thing is, like, that's the thing about being open-minded, right? And you'll see... It's very common, I feel, to see in New Zealand, like, there's a lot of closed-minded people. For example, there's a lot of people in my work that are 40 and 50, and they have done nothing with their lives. They just talk about TV. They have a family, sure, but they don't really travel. They've never traveled outside New Zealand. They just watch rugby. They watch TV shows, and they have practically a very close sense of mind due to that, like not being exposed to a lot of things. And I find that very sad. Like, if I was to be that age and be at that mental state, which I've already surpassed at my age, I would be so fucking depressed. So that's my sort of drive of, like, seeing these people that are way older than me and thinking the same thing, like, adults should be adults, right? They should be, you know, way smarter than I am at my age, and seeing them struggling with shit way harder than I am, even though I'm like half their age. Like, that's the sort of push I gave myself when I was a bit younger. Probably around your age when I started, like, developing seriously. But yeah, that's... I think for me now, like, I've gotten older, it's asking, instead of, like, even 2-3 years ago, I was quite arrogant. I would say that. I've always been brutally honest with people. Like, I say exactly what I mean, and I think that's good. But I think the difference is being open-minded appeared to being arrogant with it is a massive thing. Like, before, for example, if I didn't agree with someone, instead of saying, oh, what if, I would just be like, nah, fuck this person, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I would be open-minded on a lot of things. There's some subjects, like you're saying, that you're a bit more touchy on. I don't really get touchy on subjects anymore. The only things I still struggle with is people's toning, and if, like, people are too loud. Like, for example, the ways people say something to me can trigger me sometimes to be closed-minded. And also, I've got very sensitive hearing, so if someone yells or, like, is too loud, my ears just ring and I get angry, and then my open-mindedness goes out the window and my fight or flight kicks off. Just not a good thing. But I think it is just opening those, like, other doors. You know, when you get older, you learn how to open other things too. You know what I mean? Like I was mentioning, what's a good example? Like, well, like 3 years ago, right? Like, I was overweight. I thought everyone that talked about dieting or nutritional knowledge was a fucking idiot. And I didn't believe anything. I just ate what I want, didn't give a shit, right? And I thought, you know, calorie cutting is the way to go. You know, I thought the generic, stupid media published crap of calorie cutting, you know, nutrition doesn't mean anything. You know what the media pushes to make clicks, you know what I mean? It's just useless information. And then I actually decided, fuck this, I'm going to learn about this stuff. And I learned, you know, there's so much mixed information with this, and it's a rabbit hole and stuff like this, and that opened my mind for nutrition. But then you speak to other people, like, about it. Like, yeah, I can speak about the human body and how we, dissolve food, not even just about dieting, like what the food does to our bodies, right? Like, I learned a lot about that sort of stuff. But you talk to other people and they're completely closed off about it, because nutrition, I found out later on, as touchy as a subject as religion. If someone's religious and they say they're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you try and say something about Muslim religion to them, then they're going to be completely closed off to it. So if you say, oh, you should, you know, they're saying about a problem, you can say, oh, you should be eating this, and they'll just be closed off about it. It's very, very hard to get into things like that with some people. So there's a lot of subjects like that, I think, where people have this massive barrier automatically, and as soon as you mention anything, even if you're completely right and they're wrong, the automatic reaction, even if they know they're wrong, will just be defensive.
Yep. I mean, I've had opinions like that too, and instantly I shut down, and yeah.
It's stressful, isn't it? Thinking about how stupid you were like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh damn. Man, you got no idea. Rural Christian upbringing, homosexuality, bad. You gay, you gone. Get out of my life. Mental health is a joke. Mental health is nothing. Every time there was like a gay scene in a movie or on TV where either girls or guys kissed each other, I'd be like, no, look at them. They're trying to force it down our throats. We get that point. Why you gotta ruin the movie by forcing it in there? Dude, you have no idea who I used to be. You have got no idea the horrible takes I used to have versus me being kicked in the head enough times and getting back up enough times to realize, holy, I don't like that guy. That guy back there? We don't like him.
I do have a hot question for you. Lachi really wants to know, what is your 3 biggest hot takes?
I think I listed them. Are we talking about like hot takes I regret? It was definitely the mental health thing. That's probably the biggest, because I had a partner with BPD, didn't respect it, didn't believe it existed, treated her like it didn't exist, kind of abusive in a way. That was quite bad. Then the whole, I guess, gay bad. That's probably another one. And I guess my third one is all women are bad. That was a rough one. That was my Ben Shapiro phase. That was the feminist destroying phase. That was long enough ago for me to be happy that it's gone. That was bad. So, hey, if you're none of those things, good on you. You don't have to go through being a shitty person. Congratulations. So, if you're not doing those things, you're doing great. If you don't have any of those takes or never have, I think you're doing great. Good on you. Feel better about yourself.
I feel good. I've never felt that way about anyone.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I feel so good about myself. Thanks, Sam.
Here I am, I'm a burden bearer.
You're a burden bearer. Oh no. What would be my? Should I do my 3 hot takes? Do you reckon I should, Sam?
Yeah. What are your 3? If you're willing to risk your Twitch career, because you're going to be online a lot longer than me, I think.
Oh no.
Do you really want these to come out and then in 5 years them be brought up? Lachi's going to save them and use them against you.
Probably bribery.
Yeah. Blackmail. Oh, speaking of blackmail. Nah, never mind. Story for the next time I'm on.
What would be my 3 hot takes? I don't know if I have 3 that I can think of. I've done really bad. I have a funny story of when I was like 5 years old, and this is before I got bullied, and I was technically a smart kid according to the school, so I had all the cool friends and shit back in primary school before I got bullied in intermediate. And I thought I was a really fun kid, so I went around to rest homes when we visited like my grandparents or something like that, and I think it might be great grandparents. They're freaking old anyway. It was a long time ago. I was like 5, and me and my friend decided to run around all the homes and like ring all the doorbells and run off. And like a bunch of the old people called the police, and we got dragged out under a car, and so these cops turned up and shit for harassing all the old people. It was like this 2 terrified like 5-year-olds. I mean, that's a different take, Lichi, because I think for some people it is. For other people, no. Lichi pretty much just put in chat, didn't you say that religion is someone being weak-minded so they need to believe in something and not to think and shit? That's a hot take. And that's partially a half argument I made to Lichi once about religion, because I think there's many reasons to be in religion, and I think one of the reasons for people to go into religion is because they need a sense of security, a sense of something. So they go to religion for that, which is a less brutal way of saying they're weak-minded and need someone to hug them. A community. But there's other reasons people go into that too. I feel like obviously there's family and there's community and a lot of positive things too. But that is one part of a hot take conversation. Yes.
I think religions have just as many closed-minded people as anywhere else, and I don't think people who are religious or turn to religion get classed as weak-minded. Now, Kevin, who's my friend, who I do my hot takes and a lot of debating with, he is through and through a Christian. And I mean, we both have the same opinion that, I brought up a point where, if someone is walking through life like ignorantly, not learning and stumbling through life and super wide-eyed and like, wow, world, believes everything they hear, and that gets shunned on pretty much everywhere because you're an idiot. But when you're in church, that's kind of accepted. Say a word, believe it, and if you believe it, you get praised. But he agrees with me that is it. Like, we both agree that that's kind of, we just see those people as kind of impressionable and not. But but that's everywhere. I don't think you can specifically point to religion and say, oh, religion specifically has these people who go to religion are specifically closed-minded and idiots. Sure, there is a bit more. It's more of a accepting world for kind of ideology like that, but I wouldn't go as far to say that most people, because I know so many Christians and so many religious people, Muslim people who are quite intelligent, and I know a lot of people like Kevin is a great example. I just think they're everywhere, and I think it's also easier to say because the impression that they're being given is to go against the LGBTQ community in a sense, and some Christians who think they're open-minded will say things like, oh, I don't mind the gay people so long as they do it over there, get away from me kind of thing, which is pretty much, I'm homophobic, but I'm trying to be PC in public. I'm a nice homophobic person.
The type that won't yell at them or something.
Because going against the LGBTQ in a lot of Christian churches is kind of praised and kind of looked up upon. I mean, society or public would see that as closed-minded, but it's kind of, that's also a hard one to say because they're being brought up in to believe, and like when I was brought up in my family, for example, it was just the way it was, and I didn't have outsider education, so it's. And like, you're obviously not going to get that education from within the church. A church leader isn't going to come up to you and be like, let's talk about how the gay people are okay, even though in the Bible it says they're bad. That's just not what happens. I think for Christians, just like everyone in the world, they grow up, they learn, and they make decisions for themselves, and that's for all religions, that's for all people, that's for all walks of life.
100%.
You grow up, you make decisions for yourself, and people in the real world who don't challenge themselves and don't challenge their ideologies and don't challenge what they believe are just exactly the same as Christians who do the same thing.
100%. I completely agree with that. My point, I think maybe I misspoke because you're going on about like closed-minded. I meant like weak-minded. Like, my point is like religion. When I said to Lichi, like weak-minded is where it draws people in the sense of, when I say weak-minded, it's more like they're insecure and they need like community. They need a sense of being, a sense of self. So they seek something that's like they can say is higher than them, like a cause, right? So like religion draws people like that, is my point.
I think it's the community aspect rings true further. And once again, I'm going to make the argument that
I'm not saying all. I'm just saying, definitely.
I don't think Christians are insecure where going to church feels that void. I think a lot of people go for the community, and because it's, going to church is difficult for everyone, because you have to get up on Sunday and go to church. But usually the community is what gets you there, and it's just I don't know. I think saying someone's weak-minded because they depend on a community. I don't think Christians rely that much on.
I'm not really saying. Yeah, sorry. I'm not really saying like they're weak-minded because they rely on a community. I'm just saying like initially it draws them there and they can build themselves upon that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it might be they might still be closed-minded and never get anything out of it that's positive, sure. But I'm saying like out of a lot of things like hobbies, like say for example taking up golf, you don't see a lot of weak-minded people going and taking up golf. You know what I mean? Like when I'm saying weak-minded, like insecure, people that need like a sense of security, sense of hope, something in their life to change, you would see a lot more people taking up religion, in my opinion, than say like a random hobby that like people would just do because they're looking for something to challenge themselves. As was more my point.
But you're comparing religion to a hobby. Religion is a lifestyle, not a hobby.
Yeah, 100%. But like things can.
Religion is
yeah.
a way of life. No, sorry, not religion, but Christianity is a way of life versus an activity. Going to church, I guess, is comparable to golf, but all of Christianity, I don't see how it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I get what
you know.
you're saying.
You know what I'm saying, yeah.
I think I get what you're saying. And there are definitely no shortage of closed-minded people going to church, or I guess like idiots who just turn up, eat their meal, go home, and some Christians don't even care about the word. They're just going because they don't want the pressure of not going or them not turning up to make it awkward next time they arrive to be like, oh, where were you? And they don't want to explain themselves. And for some reason, that's the reason they go to church. And other people go purely to worship God. There's just as many flawed people in that room as in that room. One's just got a cross on it.
I wonder if this would be a hot take, actually. Personally, because I don't really like to believe in that sort of stuff and I'd rather just do my own thing. I think going to church for me is a waste of time. How do you feel about that? Would you, as someone who's been previously religious, like I'm not saying it's the same for other people, but for me, I feel like it's a waste of time. What would you say? Is it a waste of time for you, or not really, as well? After that,
I guess so. I think unless you are willing to like take it seriously and start moving towards and being a part of the Christian movement, I don't think you're going to find a lot of value out of church. I'd still encourage you to go and check it out. Who knows? Maybe like someone will say something that will make you want to go back. But to me personally, right now, I don't see a lot of value in me going to church, and I do see the value of church, and I do see the value of me going to church, but unfortunately, that's just not enough to get me there. At least right now, there's a lot of value to church in sense of community and the fact that it's just a place that preaches a lot of good things morally. Some things they don't. I understand, but it is a quite a nice structure, and it is quite a nice community that promotes positivity. So in that sense, it's good to be a part of, but it's not for everyone. I don't think that it would give me too much value to go, at least these days.
That's fair. Okay, talking about time itself then, because obviously you're quite an ambitious person spacing off that, and so am I. I don't know if this is good or bad. Like, I'm still deciding in my brain if this is good or bad, and I do toss up with this a lot. I find hanging out with people a lot outside on stuff that I'm not really interested in. I just skip nowadays because I just want to do shit that's like actually productive, and I don't feel bad about that. I just feel like fuck it. I have shit I actually need to do to progress myself. What do you feel about like the whole time versus like social element, and how do you balance that yourself?
I think reality is I never find myself with like an abundance of friends that I can just be like, oh, what am I doing Tuesday night, oh, that's Damo night. Oh, what am I doing Wednesday night? Oh, that's Charlie night. You know, I don't ever find myself with an abundance of friends to hang out with. I think socializing is important. I think it is important to be active socially. I think it's good to go out once in a while, and it like, how do I do it? I kind of just work a lot. I don't really have, like, for example, this Sunday I am going out to Rangiora to do a photo shoot for a website, and because Rangiora, my friend, lives there, I'm gonna try go over to his house for lunch and make a day out of it to, you know, make some, you know, catch up with Kevin, because it's Kevin. You know, I love my boy Kevin. Catch up with Kevin, see how he's doing, see if any hot takes. I think it's important to keep the relationships with your closer friends strong, but yeah, maybe I don't get invited to a lot of stuff.
Sage.
Yeah, maybe I don't get invited to a lot of stuff, or the friend group that I used to have is kind of disbanded and all over the country. I don't know. I don't think that there's any constant need to actively keep up with friends and socialize. For me, but like every once in a while, it's always just good. Like a couple months ago, I went on a tramp with Jordan, and that was just amazing, just to get out into the wilderness with him. I hadn't seen him in a while, and go on a tramp. You know, I think they're fine if they're far in between, but you know, if they're good friends and they're good quality people, usually the time you spend with them is worth it. And if it doesn't feel worth it, then you know, maybe it's time to find some more quality. I don't know.
Quality over quantity. Nah.
Yeah, I guess that's how I view it. Yes, quality.
Alright, so maybe yours. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. For me, it's like I didn't do a lot in the past, so I think I built up a lot of relationships. Not with people a lot of the time I'm not like amazing friends with, but I don't know. I'm at a stage in my life now, for example, which this may sound terrible, where I get annoyed if people take up too much of my free time. Like, I just want to do so much shit. I have so many ideas. I just want to just do so much stuff. But so if I, for example, when I go out, like if I plan something with Sophie, for example, I want to integrate it somehow into something I'm doing, so I don't feel like it's wasted. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if Sophie is saying, "Oh yeah, let's go out and have a walk," I'll say, "Oh, yeah, let's go stream with it." You know, we'll just go walk, to take chat, and we'll go walk. So we did a 25k walk on like last Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. That was awesome.
It was good fun. Yeah, that was fun, and I want to do more of that sort of stuff because I want to do more IRL content. But I feel like I'm not doing that. Like, say for example, I'm just hanging out with friends and I'm doing it every single week. I just feel like that's like, you know, a whole day wasted. Like, it's just gone and dusted. I could be doing actual shit. I don't know. It's hard. I think it's the creator in me being like, I need to do something all the time. It's the same mentality of work right now. Like, work for me is brainless. It's very autopilot-y because I've just been there so long, and the job's very similar to a lot of things. There's a lot of information you need to know, but it's very similar once you know it, right? So I'm on autopilot most of the time, and I think even though I'm getting paid, I feel like it's just such a waste of time. Like, I could be doing tenfold the stuff on my like own brand at home. Like, I could be building my brand. I could be making YouTube videos every single day if I had the time. But then I get the comfort zone off, but I need money. Then I'm like, okay, I better keep it. But you know what I mean? I've got that mentality now where I'm just sort of like, I'm kind of overworked. Like, I just want to do my own shit. Like, it's such a waste of time. I think as well, like when you're working with people that do 9-to-5s and enjoy their 9-to-5, or like that's not necessarily enjoy it, like tolerate it, right? They're not very ambitious people generally, so like they don't really share the same habits. They just rather sit around and talk and socialize more, which is maybe why I'm feeling that way too. I don't know. That's hard. I'm kind of mixed up with that sort of shit at the moment. It's what I'm fighting right now.
Well, you have to get comfortable and kind of, if you want to, let's say, for example, if I wanted to stay in my job, if I wanted to pursue a service desk lifestyle, I'd have to, at least to some degree, become content with where I was, or complacent with where I was, and that's literally the complete opposite of like having a drive and having a constant like goal to progress. You have to almost like swap that out. I won't say kill, but you have to like swap that out with like a, I'm gonna rock up and I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do what I need to do for today. I'm gonna go home and I'm okay with that. You need to be content with just doing that. And I think both you and I were not content with just doing that. And that's, I guess, why we struggle sitting in our office day in and day out. But I mean, I'm super grateful for my job. My boss is super good, and I do get to do a lot of like when you're on call, when you're talking to someone for 20 minutes, you can be reading something on your side screen, like learning so I've actually a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of time. I haven't spent a lot of time not working, but whilst I'm working, I've had some opportunities to learn a few things, which is good. But yeah, I think quality over quantity for friends, and I don't know, that drive and feeling like you're wasting away at work, that doesn't really go anywhere, and it just kind of frustrates you, and it's not really helpful. You know what I mean? It's just like you just turn up to work and you're just like, all you can think about is something else or something that you'd rather be doing, and then you get through the day and then you get home and you finally can do that thing. You
know how I have turned that into something that's helpful? I've been doing it for a while now, as the cheese probably knows what I'm going to say. Every idea I do, I put on my phone, and I've got notes. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of notes of things, ideas, shit I'm going to do when I'm home, and I make a list. Like, I just try and optimize my time so when I go home, I'm just like, oh, my camera's refocusing. Hello, camera, I'm here. I'm back here. Focus, please. I've gone out of focus, boys. Hello, camera. There we go. I have to stand here from now on.
Alright.
I don't know. I just changed the aperture thing. Where is it? Defocus. Focus? There we go. Fixed. I'm figuring out my camera, boys. But I've tried doing that as a thing to try and get around my frustration. Like, I've been trying to like plan out small things that I'm definitely going to do each day. Like for example, when I'm at work, I do a lot of like podcasts and listen to a lot of shit that I find interesting and helpful for development. But I also, when I do that, I take notes from those podcasts because I'm actively thinking about what I'm going to do when I get home to progress my brand, what I'm going to learn about for YouTube, or to like create things, or like make more interesting content. What am I going to buy, like, for upgrading my quality? Like, I do a lot of that sort of stuff, so I can try and save time when I'm home instead of just fucking around and doing nothing, playing cell phone games or some shit. So maybe that helps.
You go. Sorry.
That's it. Yeah, you continue.
Oh, I was like, I try to do similar things like writing up lists and stuff, so when I get home, I can be as productive as possible. Like, or some days I just like come home and I'm like, all right, I got this and this to do, and I'm getting better at it, and I do it. But then sometimes, that tab of YouTube opens up, and then my eyes go that way for an hour. And then I'm like, oh, another video, another video, another video. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, and there goes my night. Oh, well,
the rabbit hole.
I still do that sometimes. But I'm getting better at it. Usually when I make a list, I follow it through. Some people say instead of, it's...
I'm
trying to get there.
You know what I find very helpful, which I did this a long time ago. So it's like I started doing when I was about 21. Because I was finding I was never getting anything done, is when I do anything on my free time, I get everything that's necessary done no matter what first, and then I can relax and do everything. And that makes the day feel so much more productive. And I've noticed since I do that, like if I skip doing that, my day is a lot less productive. If I do that from the get-go, I then transition that energy from like, oh yeah, I'm doing that, oh, what else can I do? You know what I mean? Like it kickstarts your day a lot more, and you get all the shit that you'd be stressing about if you didn't do out of the way. So I find that quite useful. I don't know if that helps. Like, for example, on Saturday or Sunday, like I have to mow my lawns, I'll just get that shit done straight away in the morning if I can. As soon as I wake up, just get that shit sorted, and then I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be sitting at my computer playing games, playing Valorant. I'll be like, I fucking have to go do the lawns. I'll procrastinate for 2 hours, and I'll waste a bunch of time, and then I'll not get much done. It's a sad day. I find that quite useful.
Yeah, the classic eat. Yeah, you probably maybe chat will find value out of this, but it sounds like you already got a wrap on it. It's like eat that frog. So like if you had to eat a frog every day for the rest of your life, the best time to eat that frog would be first thing in the morning, so you could get it out of the way. You wouldn't have to dread it all day, and then you could just continue on with your life. So it's like every morning you wake up, eat your frog. Come on. It's such a stupid thing, but I kind of love it. I just love how absurd it is. Like everyone's got a frog they have to eat in the morning.
100%, yeah. There's a million analogies. I think that one's pretty good. It's better than the fuck did one of my old colleagues just say about that? If you get up doing nothing, you're starting your engine on diesel instead of petrol. That's what he used to say.
Yeah.
He's a car head though, which makes sense. Right. Yeah, that's another decent analogy. I like your one better. You know, fucking, I don't want to eat frogs. Get that shit done. You know,
no one wants to eat frogs.
Unless you're French, maybe. You just like fry that shit up, make it buttery. Oof, maybe they're into it, you know?
Right. It's a raw, alive frog. There we go. That'll make it unedible for everyone. A raw, alive frog. You have to eat one every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
You'd probably just end up, you know. But, you know, until then, eat it first thing in the morning.
That's the one. I mean,
hey, were you at Rickett and Mall this morning, right?
I might have been at like 8 a.m. Why? Were you in Rickett and Mall at like 8 a.m.?
No, I was at work. Are you gay, Sam? Unfortunately, literally, I am not gay. I hate to break it to the whole Twitch chat and the world, but I'm straight. I'm sorry. Any other questions from Litchi?
Poor Litchi. How did you know I was at Rickett and Mall? Or are you just guessing?
What do you mean? I'm just, you know, that smart, big brain. You know, I'm like.
Are you tracking me? Are you tracking me, dude? When we went to that trip, did you put something in my pocket? You got a tracker on?
Like.
What the fuck?
You probably can't see, but that's a photo of you at Rickett and Mall. You can't see because of the focus. Hold up.
Why did you take a photo of me and not say hi?
I didn't take a photo of you.
You took a photo of me, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Why is there a photo of me? That's highly creepy. I'm wearing the same shit.
To me at work, they're wearing the same shirt.
I am. I've gained enough weight that most of my shirts don't fit, so this is like a good fit right now. Why is there a picture of me?
And if you want to know the conclusion to the story, you'll have to tune in to the next time I'm on the Ryan interview show.
Why is your camera so souped?
Sup? I think it focused.
There you go.
Zoom back out. And I unfocused.
Oh, what have you done?
I'm just... There we go. Ah!
Breaking your camera. That's kind of creepy though. I'm so like, what the fuck?
Anyway, any more questions for Sam?
Yeah, who took that photo, dude? How do they know it's me? Why would they take a photo of me?
Yeah, you're just that famous, bro. You made it. Now, to find out, tune into our next episode, because you're going to have me back, right, Ryan?
Sure, dude. I'll be like one of those yearly things or something. No, it was a vibe, though. We probably... Yeah, I don't think there's any more questions, so we'll sign it off here.
Yeah,
I'll do my classic sign-off, Sam. Let me talk.
Alright.
It's only highly creepy. For anyone who doesn't know Sam, where can they find you, Sam? What is your socials? And we'll put them in the description, of course.
Oh, my social. If you want, video work, McKay's Media. That's kind of who I am, at least business-wise. So if you want to get stuff from that, McKay's Media. I got a Facebook page and a website, mckaysmedia.com. I guess that's that. Samssi lol is my Twitter handle, at Samssi lol. It's a picture of me with marker drawn on my head. You won't recognize me. But yeah, it's good branding right there. You won't recognize me. Look at that. But yeah, those are that's pretty much it. I got a dead YouTube channel that no one should look at, but who knows, maybe it'll come back one day.
Do you have an Instagram as well?
Oh, I do. They're linked below because they're too hard for me to just, they're not that hard, but anyway, links below, right?
Yeah, I'll put everything in the description, don't worry.
Check out my Insta.
Yeah, just see me all that stuff. For anyone who doesn't know what I do as well, I stream Thursdays to Mondays. Every Monday we do a Sophie's Kitchen, which is a cooking stream, which is pretty cool. Though we won't be doing them so much over Christmas because Sophie's going to be running away to Cromwell to go pick some fruit. For the rest of the stuff, I do a mix between gaming and IRL content. So I do an interview a week with cool people like this over here, who's looking very strangely into the camera silently, which is very good. But yeah, you can catch me on Twitch. I do YouTube as well, which this will also be on YouTube. If you guys do need professional photography photography work done, go check out Sam. And for YouTube purposes, please do, if you did enjoy this interview, please do give us a thumbs up and a follow or a subscription, whatever you want to call. Oh, it's still like little points and stuff. Woo! There's point random things. Thank you, Sam, for joining us today. It was pretty fun.
Hey, it was good chatting with you. I enjoyed it.
Indeed, dude. Me too, dude. We'll talk to you again soon, eh?
Hey, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. Peace out, Sam.
Bye.
Bye.